If I could say, hey, I could show you what the purpose of your life is and why you exist. I mean, that'd be a big deal, right? I mean, that's kind of more important than anything else, right?
Good afternoon,
How you
Jefferson.
guys doing
My
tonight?
name is Joseph.
Can I do a quick interview with you guys about the spiritual condition of the country? Can I answer a few questions just about what you think the spiritual state of our country is, or what you see as the biggest problems facing the country? Young people in particular, what do you think?
There's not too much faith.
Not too much faith? Yeah, there's not too much faith, or not too
Not too much faith.
not
Not
too
a lot.
not a lot? Yeah, we need more, huh? Yep, you a Christian?
Not here because we hate Jefferson.
What's that?
We actually love Jefferson.
You have a belief system, or what would you say
I
characterizes?
mean, I believe in a higher power.
Okay.
That's what it is.
That's good. How many of your friends would you say are Christians?
People of Jeffersonville.
None of them. Wow. And how many of them were raised in church?
Good news of the Lord Jesus.
None of them. You grew up in a Christian family, a Christian household, or okay? Do you still consider yourself a Christian?
Joy.
I don't
I
know.
want you to have
You don't
this
know?
laughter and
Figuring it
joy
out?
in your heart. to
Not
know
sure.
true
Yeah. Well,
life.
there's a lot of people asking questions. I was a skeptic when I was a young person, and I didn't know what I believed or why I believed it. You know? Yeah. Why do you think that so many young people are not
And, we are
interested
a
in
people
God or
that have
spirituality today?
in our nation,
Social media.
if you look at
Social
that
media?
triangle, that
Yeah. Distractions, would you say, or
priorities, we
Yeah.
are way up on there.
cheap
Everybody's
imitations?
sitting at the top.
Yeah. Have you guys ever studied the history of Christianity and the life of Jesus Christ? Okay. I would encourage you to study. You know, one of the cool things about Christianity is it's one of the few religions in the world that makes historical claims that can be validated or proven or disproven, right? Like you take Hinduism, for example. Hinduism has a lot of mythology, or the ancient Viking religion, right? What the Norse people believed before Christianity spread there. They had mythology, Thor, and they had these great stories of things that had happened thousands of years ago, but there was no way to document any of that historically, right? It's mythology. The Bible is a book that doesn't ground itself in mythology. It's a book that grounds itself in real history, right? Jesus was the fulfillment of many, many prophecies that were written and preserved for hundreds and hundreds of years. And then he fulfills these prophecies, and we can actually read and document the ways that he fulfilled these ancient prophecies with his life, his death, and then his resurrection, right? And so these are real historical claims. And in Jesus' day, he and his disciples were willing to let people put these claims to the test. They said, don't just believe because somebody's telling you, believe it because you're seeing it, right? You're seeing the fulfillment of these things. So the good thing about Christianity is Jesus says, come, let us reason together, right? Put these claims to the test. And that's one of the beautiful things about it, right? We're not left in a state of, do you know what agnosticism is? You know what it means to be an agnostic? Agnostic it means without knowledge. Gnosis is a Greek word that means knowledge. So an agnostic, it's kind of a popular thing today. People are, say, I don't really know. I don't know whether there's a God. I don't really know that Christianity is true. And that can be kind of humble at a certain point where you're like, hey, I'm not really sure what I believe, right? The problem is that, if you just stay in that condition, right, then you never find answers. And then your life is never grounded in real purpose and meaning and truth, right? So it's like this. There was a great philosopher in the 1500s named Francis Bacon. You probably studied him in school. He was one of the fathers of the scientific method and was a great scientist and mathematician. He said a simple study of philosophy brings somebody's mind towards atheism, not belief. But a deep study of philosophy brings somebody's mind towards God. He said God is the unavoidable reality. And so what I would encourage you guys is to really make a priority pursuing truth and understanding who God is. Because if you stay in a state where you're like, well, I think there's something, but I don't really know what it is, well then, how are you ever going to know that you actually have the truth? How are you going to know what the purpose of your life is, right? Like if I were to say, why do you exist? How would you answer that question? What is the purpose of your life? How would you answer that? Right, so I mean, do you think it's possible to find an answer to that question? Yeah, I mean, that'd be a pretty important thing to answer, right? If I could say, hey, I could show you what the purpose of your life is and why you exist. I mean, that'd be a big deal, right? I mean, that's kind of more important than anything else, right? This is like literally why you exist, why you're on this planet, why you're thinking, why you're hearing. There's nothing more important than that, right? That should be our chief pursuit in life, right? Is to know why we exist and who God is and what the truth is, right? If Christianity is not true, then I don't want to believe it, right? I don't want to waste my life doing that, But if it is true, then it demands our commitment. Faith is not blind. Faith is a commitment, So, can I invite you to come and check out our church on a Sunday? How about just maybe coming and hanging out and having dinner or going to a Bible study?
quite a ways.
Do you? Which direction?
This life cannot shake you.
Okay, north. Well, you can contact. We have people that live north, south, east, west from here.
And it's also the answer.
But you know, it helps to have somebody who can sit down and talk you through these things. You know, for me, I was 19 years old. I was a homeless drug addict. You know, not everybody has to hit bottom like that. You know, but I would hit bottom. And my dad was a help to me. I moved down to New Orleans with him, and he just answered my questions, walked me through the scriptures. I had all these questions. Well, why would God create the world? And, you know, why would God send people to hell? That doesn't seem right. And, you know, and I had all these questions. And he just patiently walked me through answering those questions, helped me understand. And he brought me to church, and I experienced the presence of God. And God convicted me of my sin. You know, I'm a sinner. Realized I was a sinner. You know, I had a lot of selfishness and sin. You know, do you realize that about yourself? You realize that you have sin in your heart? You think that's true? I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a hard thing to talk about sometimes. People kind of get it, but it's true, right? I mean, you have sinned, I've sinned, you've sinned. We've all fallen short, the Bible says, of the glory of God. And we all, as a result, are guilty before God, right? That's why Jesus shed his blood. He died so we can be cleansed and receive life, forgiveness, and his spirit, and the joy that comes only through his spirit, right? Nothing can replace the joy of the Lord. There's no substitute for that, you know? So, anyway, any other thoughts or questions? I know you guys are letting me talk your ear off, and I appreciate it. I'm Jason. Anthony? Jennifer, well, I appreciate your kindness and patience. But yeah, feel free to reach out. You need anything, prayer, questions you got, anything, just feel free to reach out. Okay, have a good night.